Harold is a Ipswich historian.
Yes.
140 years ago next month. It's a story about the most prolific thief in Ipswich.
Right.
We used to work with the thief, didn't we, in radio? We won't mention his name.
Oh, yes, yes.
He used to raid the prize cupboard. I think he got sacked about 3 or 4 times.
He's still working in radio.
I know, we better not, because you can hear this in New York.
Yes.
Let's talk to Harold about this thief. Harold, how are you, mate?
Fantastic, Danny. I love hearing about your stories of radio history around the world. It's not bad. I love it.
Yeah, listen, just quickly, people could go to historyouthere.com. All these stories you've told over the last 3-4 years about Ipswich, there's some really good stories there. You've actually got people's names put on, cenotaphs, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. We've got corrections made on cenotaphs as John Williamson or over in Egypt. And so we've made corrections through the research we've been doing. And yeah, you're right, go to historyouthere.com. There's over 300 short stories there.
We need to talk to the media about that before Anzac Day, how you have corrected these mistakes where people who should be honoured weren't honoured. So you've done a good job. But let's talk about the prolific thief of Ipswich 140 years ago this month.
Yeah, Danny, did you go to see John Williamson at the Ipswich Civic Centre last night?
No, but I'd love to because he's a talent.
Yeah.
He wasn't on.
What happened?
I was not. Well, that's why Danny didn't go to see it. You know, well, he's sick or injured or something, isn't he? He hurt his hand or something like that?
Hurt his arm, and he's not allowed to play, so he's had to cancel a lot of dates, and hopefully he'll be able to reschedule them later in the year.
Oh, it's lucky he's here to know.
Yeah, well, 26 golden guitars he's got, so...
well, that's why he's got a sore arm.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort to carry
right.
26 golden guitars around.
Even worse to play all of them at the same time.
Using your feet.
Yeah, that's right. But 140 years ago next month, there was another John Williamson who came to Ipswich.
Right.
And he set record spinning of another kind.
Right.
Now, it was in 1884 that John Williamson had been living for more than 2 weeks at the Ulster Hotel, just down there on Brisbane Street. Now, he was trying to sell an array of goods. There was a gold watch and chain, diamond ring, 2 gold seals and a key, 2 pieces of gold, another gold watch and a chain, a gold brooch, yet another gold watch, chain and locket, a gold cross. I don't know whether there was any golden guitars there, but there was a whole lot more being sold. Had a huge amount of stock. The problem was that none of the stuff was his. And he was arrested on a charge of having committed several larcenies in Brisbane. And he came to Ipswich to float it off. And when Williamson was arrested, he was even wearing a silver watch and chain that weren't his either.
Wow.
Now, when he faced court, the list of victims was so long that they couldn't all be included in the newspaper reports. And so they simply said that there were more similar charges. A key witness against him was the artist Henry Paris, who 3 years later shot himself. But that's beside the point. The problem for Williamson, as well as the sheer volume of his life's work, was that he faced some very formidable foes in both who he stole from and who arrested him. Now, the arresting officer at the Ulster Hotel on the 22nd of March 1884 was the powerful Senior Sergeant Andrew O'Driscoll, and he was from Ballydehob in County Cork, Ireland. Now, O'Driscoll was said to be a man of splendid physique. In fact, he reminds me of you a lot, Danny. O'Driscoll was a man of splendid physique, a well-known and picturesque figure in the early days of his Queensland policing. He stood 6'4" tall, which was a giant of a man back then. His athletic prowess was long talked about, especially his encounters with Larry Foley. And, of course, Foley was a middleweight world boxing champion who became the father of boxing in Australia. And Foley was, in fact, Sergeant O'Driscoll's brother-in-law. When Williamson was arrested down at the Ulster Hotel here in Ipswich, he never stood a chance. He was always going to be just bundled off to the lockup. Now, those who Williamson stole from were equally as influential. One was Richard Hughes of South Brisbane. Williamson took from Hughes a gold watch and chain, diamond ring, gold seals, monograms, gold key and another ring. Hughes was owner of the long-standing Brisbane printing firm R.S. Hughes & Co. His sister was a central figure in an unexplained death after her husband, William Miskin, disappeared from Toowong in 1891.
Wow.
When Hughes passed away in 1896, his estate was worth millions. Now, another victim of Williamson was William Overell in Milton. Now, he lost a gold watch, chain and gold brooch. Overell was the founder in the 1870s of one of the biggest draperies in Queensland. Denny, you might remember the store Overell's.
Yeah, I do, actually. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I certainly do, because my mum always bought my school uniforms from there. Anyway, Overell was a victim of Williamson, and his grandson, Bertram Overell, was a member of the Z Special Unit. And as you know, they famously carried out Operation Jaywick, in which they attacked Japanese shipping in Singapore Harbour during the Second World War. Anyway, when Overell passed away in 1917, he was worth tens of millions of dollars. Wow. These are the people Williamson was stealing from. Anyway, in the end, in 1884, John Williamson was sentenced to 3 years penal servitude for stealing from the dwelling and 1 year's imprisonment for larceny to be served concurrently. After he got out in 1886, he was pretty promptly arrested at North Quay in Brisbane for vagrancy. But it was quickly realised how he was actually supporting himself, because he had another gold watch and chain, so he got put down for another 3 years. And so at that point, Ipswich's most prolific thief was he was arrested at the Ulster. He disappeared from history. No more trace of him. But like Damo and you said earlier, John Williamson, the singer, hopefully we'll track him down and he'll come back to Ipswich once his hand's better. But you never know, these famous names, Danny, picturesque people, the history of the radio in Ipswich. It's just fascinating stories.
David Greenwood's retired from radio after a long time, started out in Ipswich. Hey, mate, you know what I've just sent you? The 2024 Viva Crib Bursary. The Viva Crib Bursaries helped to get 20 local histories published. Did you know about that?
Oh, well, I do now. Thank you very much.
I've just sent it to you,
This is the research that you and Danny do. This is fact radio, Danny, and you uncover them better than anyone.
We just found it. Your information should be published. It is so interesting, but you've righted wrongs. And you just come up with great, informative stories.
Information.
Well, you know, as I said to Damien before, there's no woke round here because we woke up. You like that? That's my saying. We woke up.
Yeah, I like it.
Now, how do we read this story and all the other stories you've done over the last 4 years?
Yeah, go to historyouthere.com. You can see it on all the socials as well, but the link all goes to the website, historyouthere.com.
We'll have another great story about Ipswich next week, right here with Harold. And Harold, we need more people to get on that has history out there and give us the old hark, hark, hark. We need more arkers, which are traditional, which are part of historyouthere.com. So get hark, hark, harking on West Bremer Radio at 8:46.